what is going on in Oxnard with Micah Parsons? What do you got for me?
This is the first one where I didn't want to believe that this is for show, right? Like I didn't want to believe that this is about being on in the A block on First Take, but I'm starting to think like that there is an element of that here where you either take a team-friendly deal at the beginning of the offseason, or we're not taking a dollar out of our pocket until we need to, and we're going to have the benefit of it being a story for the entire breadth of training camp. And the reason I say that is because I go back at the last few, and I did some digging over the weekend on Zach Martin's situation 2 years ago, and then CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott last year. And what I found was that the pace of negotiations was not much different. Once the Cowboys got out here for training camp, there was not a lot in the way of talks between the sides in those previous three situations. So in a lot of ways, I think what's happening here, including the piece of Jerry going directly to the player, lines up with the Cowboys' normal MO. It's just now you have a player who's willing to put all the laundry out there, So I think this gets done the week before the season. And I think it's probably $45 million per year. And I think everybody walks away from this happy. Now, I think the question becomes, does it affect his season? And we saw what happened with CD last year, which how long did it take before he pulled a hamstring? It was like a couple weeks in, right? Like, so that's, I think the question is like, are you putting at risk his season by not putting him out there? Now, the good news is he is there. And from what I understand, he's taking part in the walkthroughs, fully engaged in the meetings. They've got a young defensive end they really like in Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College, who Micah's really taken under his wing. So everything the coaches have asked of him, he's done this summer. It's just, obviously, there's the business to take care of.
So I guess you want to put any more meat on the bones as to what made you feel that this is performative, so we can all be talking about it and get the Dallas Cowboys buzz up. I mean, what was it?
It's on Netflix in 2 weeks.
Okay, I got it. Right. I understand that, but that's buzzy enough. Like, you don't need to be playing a game of chicken and pissing off your player to make him put all the laundry out there. Was the laundry accurate? Do you think?
I think it was accurate, and
from Micah's point of view,
I think Micah was being honest. Like, and I don't think, and look, like I think he's got a really competent agent too, and David Mulugeta, who, like, I don't think is going to put himself on center stage, but he's the most powerful agent in the NFL, and.
Is that why Jerry doesn't want to talk?
And I think when you have that piece of it, like where Jerry said the stuff he said, David's not going to come out and blow Jerry up publicly for it, but he's going to file it away, And so, like, I think this thing is in a really weird spot from that perspective, but I also think there's a deal to be done here, and the market's very well defined. Like, you can't claim, if you're the Cowboys, that Myles Garrett's an outlier because TJ Watt got done. And I think Trey Hendrickson's not going to be too far off from where those two land if he gets done. So, Aiden Hutchinson, if that somehow winds up getting done over the next few weeks, what does that do to the whole thing? So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so
I mean, that could just, and that's the whole point of this, is you want to talk about how does it affect wins and losses. I know you just mentioned, Albert, about soft tissue injuries that happen more often than not when somebody's not working out during training camp, right? Also, when you're like 1-2, 2-4, 3-5, does this sort of bad blood manifest itself by coming back out again? Because if Jerry says something on his local radio hit that might rankle Micah, who then says something, and then it's now Brian Schottenheimer having to put something out in the locker room, and he's a new coach and might not again. But the one thing that I come back to is the waiting to sign somebody, right? That the waiting to sign somebody gets more expensive, we all know.
Yep.
And does that remove the Cowboys' ability to add depth to a roster? Like, is there a real connecting of a dot that there could be a thinning of a roster because you're not having that extra millions of dollars to go to this player, that player that could also play special teams and make you a deeper team? Is there something to that?
I mean, if you want, let's look at the cumulative cost of it, right? So let's say Micah gets done at 45. Okay. So now you're talking about 45 for Micah, 34 for
That's
CD,
5 north of Myles Garrett, man.
And then 60 for Dak.
Yes.
So that's 3 players taking up, I believe, like my fuzzy Ohio State math, 100.
Nice.
I think it's 140 million per year. Now there's obviously existing years and the numbers are spread out, but that's money. That's real money that you're going to have to account for, which is, I mean, over half the salary cap for this year if you just count that number. So like that's the cost of it, is that like when you keep doing this over and over again, you do it once, like, all right, like, well, then we'll do these other guys early. You keep doing it over and over again, then I think you wind up in that situation where those things can start to happen and it can thin out your roster. I mean, ask the Niners about it now. Like the Niners had to go through a cap reset because they went all in a few times in a row, right? I mean, the Niners might start like 5 or 6 rookies on defense as a result of it. So eventually it does catch up with you.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.